Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. My name's Bleaves. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world, and we got a whole lot going on. In fact, India is now negotiating with the United States, but something just happened, which is probably not going to end well. And look, this has been a difficult thing. Now, just to give you guys full disclosure, every nation received a tariff from the United States just recently, and because of that, it caused a little bit of turmoil in the markets, caused the markets to dip precipitously. We've had no real sort of pump or recovery of any sort. We're not minting new highs on any project, not in the stock market, not anywhere. And a lot of people are wondering exactly what it is that's going on. Well, we're constantly told that a deal is forthcoming. A deal is about to be announced. As of today, remember, this goes back a couple of months. We've been dealing with this now for over a month and a half. We have 0 trade deals. We have 0 trade deals. So, is the Trump administration serious? Yes. Are they good negotiators? Not so far. However, that doesn't mean that they're undercutting us. That doesn't mean they're undercutting anything that we as citizens would do. It just means that maybe, just maybe, they think that, and by they, I mean everybody else in the world, they think that maybe the United States will just buckle and not hold up to this deal. That's what seems to be happening. Now, is that the truth? I don't know, but it sure seems like it at this point. So make sure you hit the like button on the way in. We're going to kick it around here. We're going to figure out what's going on. Ray down 16% on the day, collapsing. In fact, most of the majors are down about 2 or 3 points, with Bitcoin being down about 1 point. So, not as bloody a day as you might think, but the optics on it. OP down 8%, Walrus down 11.5%, Ray again down 15.8%, Virtual down 15.1%, Curve Dow down 7.4%. Curve Dow's Twitter account was hacked yesterday, so that would explain why they're down. Layer down 34%, Syrup up 24%, Soros at up 24%, Move is up 8.4%. Where are we on our Move position? We're down 83.78% right now. Our realized P&L is $38. We're nowhere close to being able to do anything with it. So we're just kind of stuck in that position, if you will. But again, it's a 2X. If I need to, I can throw a few bucks into it to lower the DCA on it, but I don't want to. I just kind of want to leave it there and just see if that realized P&L can continue to expand. It's up $38 right now, but my downside on it is $115. So, it would take probably another 2 months at this range with sell, which is impossible, by the way, but it would take about 2 more months at this range to kind of break even on it. So I don't know, we'll see whether or not that's going to happen or not. Shah Faisal says, please tell about Lunk. Price prediction 2025. And then we have Christy that says, what happened with Lunk is not doing anything. So for anybody who doesn't know how markets work, for anybody who's a neophyte, maybe you're an investor and you just don't understand what's going on, it's very simple. Bitcoin is going to pump before anything else. And if you base your judgment and you base your opinions on some wackadoo idea that because one random meme coin pumped, the entire market must be pumping, or there must be something wrong with my project or something like that, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. The simple answer to what is going on with Luna Classic is I have some opinions. So I'm going to give you the facts at this point, and then I'll tell you what my opinion is. It's very, very simple. The rest of the market is still bleeding. Luna Classic is about to bounce all the way up to the top of this range. So it's going to do an easy like 3x when it is time. How do I know when it's time? Well, when this happens, when Bitcoin runs up to 106,000, maybe 125,000, as high as 125,000. Now, when do we see that happening? Well, if we look at where Bitcoin is and we look at dominance at this point, when we get to the top of this range, which, I want to say that we're there, but like we're really kind of eyeballing a lot of different plot points to get there. But when we get to a spot where Bitcoin is filled, then boom, we're going to get that move down there like that. Now, that move down there is great for altcoins because that means that the money's coming out of Bitcoin. Doesn't mean the price is going down, by the way. This is not a price chart. This is a dominance chart. So the market cap for Bitcoin, it could stay at 125,000. But if the money starts to swing over into other products, then that 65% goes way down. That leads to an altcoin season. Right now, it's Bitcoin season. And guys, listen, this is probably one of the better charts that you can use to kind of see where things are going. And as it looks, I don't think we're done with the move. In fact, we could go, like it could break out above, like you saw over here back in February. Remember, that's when all of the altcoins started to collapse one more time, when we got this crazy sort of spike. So that was atypical, abnormal, but we're still having this move up. So until the market breaks down, we're not going to have this move. And that is the move that we're all looking for. That's the one that we want to see. We want to see this bounce from here all the way down. And that would mean that money is flowing into altcoins. And it's just not happening right now. So again, when you look at Soros up 24% or Syrup up 27%, you might get excited. You might be like, oh yeah, here we go, baby. Look, if you're not able to make it, if you're one of those people, I mean, there you are. That's, I don't know what to tell you at that point, other than, get your, hopefully a meme coin will pump for you or something like that. I mean, if you have to be stimulated in that fashion, because you don't understand the market dynamics or you don't accept the market dynamics for what they are, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I can tell you this: if you keep cheating out of positions, if you can't just hold a bag, you're not going to make it. You might get lucky in a meme coin. You might get lucky in 2 meme coins. You might, but let me tell you something. I have a buddy who got $16 million in 2021 off of meme coins, made $16 million, lost $12 million in meme coins over the course of the last 4 years. Now, they're still up $4 million. So, you have to recognize that they are up $4 million, but also they spent $3.5 million just buying stuff and living life and doing whatever they wanted to do. So, the money is almost gone. And I have a number of friends who are like that the same way. They're not making it because they can't just relax and they can't just chill. They got to keep being stimulated by investing in some meme coin, random or other. So, look, that is what it is. So crypto bubbles, as far as the fear and greed index, we're sitting at about 59. Let's talk real quick about the news. However, India has started their negotiations with the United States, and we are deep in that, right? Well, we just got swerved because India and UK strike a trade deal amidst US-led tariff tensions. India and UK agree to landmark trade deal. Britain and India clinch landmark trade deal in shadow of Trump's tariffs. Now, what does that mean ultimately? And look, Donald Trump was telling everybody who would listen what was going to happen. And Britain and India clinched a long-coveted free trade pact on Tuesday after tariff turmoil sparked by U.S. President Trump forced the two sides to hasten efforts to increase their trade in whiskey, cars, and food. The deal between the world's fifth and sixth largest economies has been concluded after 3 years of stop-start negotiation and aims to increase bilateral trade by a further $34 billion. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the trade deal was ambitious and mutually beneficial. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said it would strengthen alliances and reduce trade barriers in this new era for trade. So, two of Trump's trade partners are now deciding to trade with one another. Does that improve the United States in the tariff war? You can let me know in the comment section if you think that Britain and India striking a deal to continue trading with one another versus trading with the United States is exactly what was expected. So we'll see what happens there, but what's happening at this point is that other nations are realizing they don't need the United States as much as they might have thought. And by the way, that's still not a bad thing, but it is something that we will have to contend with. Also, it may not be enough. It may not be enough to support what Britain or India is wanting to do. There's probably still a large path here for big trade deals between the United States, Britain, and with India. So, but again, another spoke being ripped out of that wheel. There we are. Also, Trump is now setting May 22nd as the date for if you're a top holder of the Trump meme coin, then you can go to a dinner in Mar-a-Lago, and his crypto dinner plates cost $1.5 million, draws ethic concerns. Now, let's be very clear about this. This is the independent Trump's crypto dinner where plates cost $1.5 million. Do you give Trump $1.5 million? No, you do not. Does it cost $1.5 million? No, it does not. This is why you can't trust media. This is why the media is a scam. Okay. Now let's be very, very clear. Trump administration does control most of the supply on Trump coin. So there is still a possibility of it selling out in the open on the chart. If it were to do that, however, if it were to do that, there would be a resounding ethics investigation from both Republicans and Democrats. This would not just be something swept under the rug. This would be a bridge too far. So I'm not really concerned about it, but we should also recognize that the possibility does exist that, something drastic or crazy could happen. Now, am I concerned about this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, I think this is not the use case for crypto that we would hope that it would be. This is really NFT based. So I don't like the fact that we're using crypto and holding the bag like that. It would have been cooler if it were like Trump NFTs and stuff like that, or the elite. You know what I mean? Like if there were like 50 Trump NFTs that were like gold plated or something like that, and you had to own one of those 50 in order to get there. I think that would have been a better way. But hey, with the lack of NFTs or with a lack of foresight for something like that to happen, this is what we have. And again, I don't have a problem in the world with it, but it is dishonest from the media to keep telling you that, it's costing $1.5 million. No, it's not. If you buy your meme coin for $1.5 million and you sell it later for $2 million, how much did it cost you? That's how stupid the media is right now, or that's how stupid they expect you to be. And also, the Senate bill is in turmoil, according to Politico. And now they want to call for investigation. Senate ayes vote on stablecoin bill despite the Democratic revolt. And now you've got Senator Jokahannis coming out right now saying, "Hey, bunga, me Elizabeth Warren, me think no crypto be good me think it all be crypto scam and me think only noble savages should control crypto and banks," or whatever the fuck she says. You know, whatever this lousy little clown says about it, that's, you know, she's out of her mind. However, the way that she thinks it's going to frame, by the way, this is how dumb I really gotta, God damn it, guys. And I'm not saying anything bad, okay, about this idiot. They don't understand what's going on in the country, okay? If you're a Democrat or you're part of the Democratic Party or you're a believer, if you will, in what the Democrats are saying, right? They're not looking to win. They're just looking to indict Donald Trump. They're thinking that you, which, by the way, you are a minority at this point. They think that you, the minority, are going to more vote for somebody other than Donald Trump by them continuing to attack Donald Trump. That's how dumb they are. They're not living their life based on issues, right? And by the way, that's not everybody. AOC is going to be president one day. Like, she's got whatever it is, she's got it. She's the number one fundraiser for the Democratic Party, you know, all kinds of different. As long as she doesn't screw something up, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with at some point, right? And by the way, it should be noted that despite the, I don't remember what they were called, the clique, the whatever they were, AOC is the one that votes along with Republicans sometimes. She votes what's best and what's best for her community, not what's best for her ideology, which, however, is formed in part by how she got elected, like what her principles. So I'm not saying that she's not voting like her principles and stuff like that. But again, she's willing to negotiate. Rashida Tlaib and all these others, Ilhan Omar, they don't do that, right? They're obstructive in everything they do. AOC, she's gonna be the future of that Democratic Party, but she's not the one out speaking here, and she's not the one getting the voice. The voice of hating on Donald Trump is the voice that the Democrats seem to think people want to hear, and that's just not true. And they keep thinking that they're going to attack, and it's just not working. And they're idiots if they think that this is the path forward. Somebody at the DNC needs to go over and smack Elizabeth Warren in her face and tell her to shut up and stop, to act like a senator and not a fucking child. And that she's actually not a Navajo. She's just a ho, 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 ho. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. This is a Christmas joke. Ho, ho, ho. It's Santa Claus. It's Santa Claus, so it's science, right? Anyway, so Elizabeth Warren is, look, there is no problem here with the Democratic revote. I assure you this thing is going to pass. This is not going to be as obstructed as you might think. So let's move on to price action right now. We're going to talk Bitcoin. We just talked about what was going on here. Bitcoin dominance is still surging just a little bit. So we're not there yet. Bitcoin dominance has to surge a little bit higher, in fact, for us to get where we need to go. Now, I do think that there's going to be a breakout. And now my new target on this, I think it's going to break out of this channel. Bam. And it's going to hit like 70%. There is a real possibility. And by the way, zoom out over here and you can see what happened the last time when we did this. And you can see that, you know, the last time it was up here, it was at 74%. Before the collapse, that collapse right there, that's altcoin season. This gigantic collapse that we experienced over there was altcoin season. What we're not seeing is another altcoin season like that. So, I mean, look at where we are. You're looking at this kind of move right here, where we're just kind of going up, up, up and away, which still seems to be happening. We need that collapse for an altcoin season. The end. That's what we're working on. So where do we go on Bitcoin? Let's go to the 30 minutes and let's look. By the way, we're in really good shape right now at the moment. Look at the 30-minute chart, by the way. Look at the 30-minute chart. About $10 billion just came into the market just like that. So where are we? In the middle of our range. So nothing changes. Buy orders at 91,002. If you want to get a little risk in the game, I mean, go for it. But if you haven't already, then I would be, again, patience is more important in this market than skin in the game. Okay. And what I mean is, let's just say that I know right now Bitcoin is going to 106,000. Let's just say that I know that to be the case. I know Bitcoin is headed to 106,000. Okay. If that's the case, and you're just going to spot hold, it doesn't matter what Bitcoin does from here. Okay. It matters that you make, $12,000, $6,000, whatever the number is, to get up there. $12,000, I think, away. Yeah. So if you're just sitting on it for that, fine. If you're using a leverage position, however, there is a possibility that it's going to break here. There's a possibility that it's going to break down here before it goes up. So what you're trying to do is time that bottom. What you can't do is time the bottom, but what you can do is take a shot. Like, don't just give it up right away. Look for what is your range? Where is your bounce zone? Where could you, where can you get in? And when you look at it, like, you just had a bounce off of 93,408. So 93,500 seems to be a really good spot right here. When I put my cursor right there, look at all of the volume that you're trading on at 93.5, all across here, like all of this is 93.5. So that little range right there seems to be a nice little bounce zone. But if it doesn't hold up and we get just a little bit of downward momentum, and this is a perfect opportunity because there's only 65 or 59 billion in trade volume. So trade volume is way down, which means this is a perfect opportunity for a massive dump leading into the Fed decision tomorrow. Okay. And then there's a nice reversal coming. So I would keep my buy orders at 91,200. And remember, we are already skin in the game here. Bitcoin, here's our long position right now. Our average DCA, and we've been holding this for a while. So we're at 94,600. We could add some more skin into it, but it's not going to do anything at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, and there's a bunch of new trades that you can take at weeks. Sundog is available. GF is available. Your mom is available. Of course, you knew that. Summit is now available, and BTF. Blunt, but Bitcoin Task Force, maybe? Who knows? Anyway, so we're going to set another buy order at 91.2 just in case we're allowed to visit. And then we're going to put in another 25 right there, and we're going to open that position. So now we got 91,200 just in case we're allowed to visit that area. We're going to get into it, and that should be pretty good. Now, as far as Bitcoin news goes, what do we have on Bitcoin? Bitcoin adoption among businesses to hit 330 billion by 2029, says Bernstein Research. Dogecoin faces 500 million liquidation. UK rejects Bitcoin reserves. That's not good. Now there's a lot of talk of Bitcoin hitting 250. It's the fifth time I've seen Bitcoin at 250,000 in the last 24 hours. CZ Binance has predicted Bitcoin could hit 1 million. So the news, there's nothing really out here that's, there's no reason for a dump. So it's market manipulation is what you're dealing with. So when there's market manipulation, go with your numbers, go with your stats, go with your reason, go with your logic. If you look at your liquidation points right here, like, what do I see? If I zoom out to maybe the 2-week number, where do I want to set a buy? Well, there's a long run down here, down to 92,314. And then, if you just consider 91.2 goes down into this spot right here, like right there, doesn't make a lot of sense on that 2-week. To go down that far. So if you're going to set a buy and you want to break from the norm, 92.2 might be your better spot. On the 1 month, as you zoom out, then you're right here at 92,300. So you know what? Maybe I'm a little bit wrong. 91,200 in the short term. The choice position looks like 92.2 at this point, but right there is where it gets crazy. It's that 98,000 area right there where all the money is currently sitting. So as you zoom out a little bit more, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see huge tranches of money just kind of sitting in these ranges. So 48 hour. Let's get to a shorter chart here. You can see that we had a strong bounce. We didn't even come into the liquidity though. Like this is where it gets interesting. Like, we're not even bouncing through liquidity and we're taking off trying to attack other pools. So this to me seems like a symbol that Bitcoin really, really, really wants to run. So if you want 92.2 would also be would also be a good spot to maybe get in. I'm going to stick with 91 too, just in case. I don't need to be in the game. I'm already in the game. I just need it to go up. So, I don't really care about the rest of it. So fingers crossed on Bitcoin. As far as XRP goes, XRP is waning. And look, we just got the report from Ripple that said like they did a fantastic job in the first quarter. Not only did they get just radical improvement in their price, they're holding a tremendous floor. But now we need to zoom out and just kind of look at it and say, well, it looks like when we look at it on the daily, because we have to go back to the daily for that. When you look at it on the daily, you still have this big resistance line right now that's just not, it's holding up. But if you take this little surge that we got out of the mix and maybe just kind of, look for more, you get more bullish when you start looking at it a different way, when you're not looking at the tops right there and you're looking at the actual trend. And when you look at that actual trend, you start to move it around just a little bit. You want a lot of data points and a lot of context spots. So maybe that little breakout was a fake out. And we're just right there getting ready for another surge because we keep rejecting off of this. That is downward pressure though. And we should also recognize that when that comes into play, we also have this right here, that's probably going to break towards that upside. This is where you get that breakout. And then we got 1, 2, you might be able to make an argument 3, maybe 4. So we might be done. And this might be the moment where you get a nice little breakout. I think we need the market to be favorable. So what I would suspect is set a buy at $2 and take a shot that maybe you'll get right there into that range and get a nice little spike off of it. No guarantees, but global liquidity, look where we are versus what's happening right now. There's a lot of similarity between the way this chart is outlined and what's happening in the market. Like it is all like right there in front of you. There's a long way to go when we look at it from this context, okay? When we start to zoom out, liquidity is still flowing in, by the way. The M2 liquidity is still flowing in. And if, again, this is offset by 82 days. Is that the right number, by the way? I don't know if it's the right number or not, but that's the number that we're using at this moment. So we're seeing this play out real time on this chart. As a matter of fact, we're in that bottom seems to be pretty close. So I would say that this little dip right here is pretty close. And this is what's about to start happening. Okay. So, and we're not done yet. There's going to be another dip coming up here in middle of June. So guys, I'm trusting this money supply right now. I'm trusting the money supply. Will there be, could there be a wrench in the system? Yes. Could it be trade related? Yes. Will it be? Probably not. I think Trump is trying to prepare you guys for a worst case scenario just in case, but I don't think that he thinks that's going to happen. And I think that, I think we'll see some surprises over the next little while. All of these people that are doing this, they're incentivized to make sure that you get a soft landing. So, again, this all comes down to the Fed tomorrow, in my opinion. When we look at the daily, however, you can see there on the MACD, we got money flowing out, but the RSI is pretty low. It's below 50. So that could mean a significant reversal could be coming in over the next 2 or 3 days. Okay. So if I'm looking at it, I don't like that. I want to see that surge back up there. Might get it. But again, I would set a buy order at $2 just to see if you get an opportunity to revisit. I don't think we're going to get this 173 again, but I don't know. If it breaks down, it could break all the way down to $1.50 by the time it's done. And by the way, you'd still be up 3x from where you were 6 months ago. So, you're still fine. Unless you just bought. If you just bought, you're only getting a 2x or a 3x off of it anyway until it's, really ready to rip. So, XRP, I think it's ultimately in good position. And XRP news, Ripple's open interest sheds 520 million as XRP to ETH hits a 1-month low. And now analyst sees $6.30 surge after the retest of key levels. All right. Does he come up with $2? Let's see what he came up with. He thinks $1.90. He's giving you $1.90 right now. Dark Defender believes XRP is preparing to enter a 5-wave bullish structure, a pattern often observed in the Elliott wave theory. According to analysts, the correction phase is nearly over, and the first wave of upsides could soon begin, targeting 280 in the initial push. Following his move, he expects a pullback to around 230, marking the start of wave 2, leading to an eventual $6.30. I don't think that he's right on that, by the way. I think that he's right in the assumption of what's going to happen, but I don't think he's targeting the right price level at all. So, you know, till we get that, we'll see. But no bad news out here telling us that we need to dump on XRP. So set a buy at $2 and let's go. Tomorrow, Pectra will be released. So we are, by the rumor, selling the news, I think, right about now. Leading into it, you can see it right there. We broke out of this. Remember, we were in this little channel right here. Looked like it was doing pretty good. And today, Ethereum broke out of it, 1823 down to 1774. Bounced off of 1750, which was our 1750 short-term target. By the way, you're welcome. Now, if you got that buy-in, you're starting to see that move back towards the upside. Again, a breakout to 2000 is imminent for Ethereum and then beyond. So I think it's just a matter of timing at this point. Even, by the way, even if we take into account that it did dip like that, if we just do this, guess what? We just kind of broaden the range there a little bit. So I think we run towards that upside coming up, which could be about 1950, somewhere in that 1930 range, something like that. So I would say that you're in a pretty good position. If you're holding Ethereum right now, or you bought it at 1750 just now, then shout out, because I think you're going to have a nice little run. I do think that that's going to happen. Again, Pectra is the order of the day. And we got 24 hours until we see Pectra pop up on the radar. Let's actually go to Pectra. Pectra upgrade and FOMC decision. All right, so here we go. There is an article up talking about it. Ethereum's Pectra upgrade and the FOMC meeting on May 7 create a high-stakes scenario with traders divided on market impact. Now, by the rumor, sell the news is the order of the day, and it has been for a while. And what we're watching right now is probably the selling of the news based on Pectra. And the question would be, what happens afterwards? Well, I think what happens afterwards is we might even, by the way, come down here into this 1687 or lower sort of range. So I could see a move down into maybe 15 before we break back out. So that is also a big possibility. So I would be watching for this. And also all of your altcoins, all of your meme coins, everything attached to Ethereum is going to suffer because of that if it happens. In the event that it doesn't happen, and there is a possibility that we just got the dip that we were going to dip. It doesn't look like it to me, but if that is the dip, then it would look more like, you know, tomorrow we'll just start a surge. And if it does, then 2100, 2200 is probably going to be the next immediate target. And for confirmation, we are on our Ethereum, we're up 4% right now. Remember, we were up about 15, 20% yesterday. So, fingers crossed on, that we get that surge. But we took it at a pretty good position. Our average entry price was 1760. I think we're good. Our liquidation price is 1410. I think we're in a good spot to really start to see some kind of surge. I would add more to this position, but again, I want to follow my rules here and stick with just $25. Now you can see I've DCA'd my way through Bitcoin a couple of times because I do have a lot more faith in Bitcoin. It's a low leverage position. I don't think we're seeing 76,000 again. I'm a little more confident in that position, but I'm not confident in Ondo not going to 70 cents. I'm not confident in XRP not going to $1.72. I'm not confident in Solana not going below 116. And I'm not confident in Ethereum. I think Ethereum is not going to go there, but but it could still go to 14. And, you know, still just holding that move long at this spot. So we'll see what happens there. But Pectra upgrade coming, and what it's going to do, it's going to increase. You know what? There's actually a list of things that it was going to do. You can trade without Ethereum now. You can use any token. You can use 1,048 to stake instead of 32 Ethereum, which makes a huge difference, I think. So I really think that there's a lot to like right now. So we'll see whether or not it breaks out. But you know, I'm really excited about Pectra because I think Pectra is a game changer. And remember, Ethereum's game needs to change. If you look at the volume, 2.4 billion, Solana continues to outperform, and Ethereum at 1.7 billion is struggling to keep up. Now, you know, you add BSC, you add Base, you add Arbitrum, you add the Ethereum layer 2s, and sure, there's plenty of volume. But that's not what it's about. It's about the appearance of being number one. I think that we're about to see a surge from Ethereum. Don't quote me on that, but I really think that's getting ready to happen. Solana, which did break out to, what are we calling that? 157, is trading at 143 right now. Same thing is happening. Same sort of play out is playing. And by the way, remember how much different this chart was compared to the rest of it? When we were originally kind of just setting this up and saying, well, you know, it kind of looks like this. We broke down to the heart line and started to bounce off of that on the 30-minute right there. You can see that like we're really kind of in that tight channel above this little heart line area. So I would think 157 is coming very, very soon. I don't, you know, it doesn't just look, there could be breakdowns. We could have this priced in, but most likely we're looking at a move to 157. Again, I'm at 114 on my liquidation level. Not going to worry about it till we go below 133. When we go below 133, I might set a stop loss somewhere in that range. But I also may, you know, maybe just DCA and hold on, because ultimately I think that it's going to happen again. And the last time, you know, we broke down all the way to, was that $89, $95? So we broke down to $95. So I want to keep capital on the sideline just in case that sort of starts breaking down again, because I want to be able to buy as much as I can down in this range if it happens. And then boom, you know, take advantage of that rip as it starts to break back out. So if you're trading it today, then I think you could actually enter like right at this point here at 142, 143, and probably see a strong bounce to the top of this range at 157. Again, you're at one of the Fibonacci levels. The last time we got to that Fibonacci level, we almost hit 157. This time we should see the breakout do the same thing and actually break away and go above it. But, you know, we'll see whether or not that happens. Ondo, I entered at 86 instead of 85. Now I regret it because it's down to 84.5. But I'm not really too worried. You know, SWI is now trading at 327, but it broke down to 315. We got so close to $3. We don't have a buy order set for SWI at $3. By the way, I don't think we have an open order for it. Yeah, we don't have an open order for it, but let's if we're allowed to visit this area, I really think that we'll get a nice little breakout above. You know, like I think we'll get a nice little run back up. So we're going to go set again $3 buy for SWI, just in case we get a chance to visit. All right. So if we get that opportunity, nice. Now, if you're holding Weeks token, by the way, let me show you what just happened over here. I just delegated all of mine to LXY, which is luxury. So if you have some WXT, I only have about $400 worth of WXT, and that's depending on the day. I don't have a whole lot, but it's like 12,000 or something like that. 11,306, which is about $320 today. Anyway, my point is that if you go to WeLaunch right now and you're holding some, then you can earn luxury token for free for the next 2 days and 16 hours. All you have to do is commit your WXT into the total prize pool, and then the rewards, which is 10,500,000 luxury, is going to get split up amongst everybody who's participating in the pool. So basically, it's free money. Now, at 11,000, I'll show you my history here. You can see, here's my reward history. When I had only 1,000, I've 10x'd my amount just in the last month on WXT, just because I felt like I needed to have it. You can see right here, my reward for Boogie was 9 cents. Pancake Swap, it was less than a penny, but it was just this tiny amount. So I 5x that, and it's maybe 4 cents. So it's not a lot. It's not a lot. However, the more I accumulate, I think the better I'm going to get, get 30, 40, $50. So I'm going to keep buying. I'm going to keep buying weeks until I have maybe 5,000, 10,000 worth. And then I think that, we'll start to get much bigger and much better rewards. But if you have some, you might as well throw it in there and just earn for doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like if you're just sitting on WXT waiting for that next move. By the way, I think they're going to burn some pretty soon. We'll see. But if they do another big burn, then it probably works on the price. We got a legend in the house. We've got the Vaulted Crypto Che in right now. Good vaulted morning to you, my man. So SWI, we got it $3. We'll see what happens there. OM is still, it tried to break out, by the way, last night, went up to 42 cents. This was going into the middle of the night last night. It's not going to sustain yet. I don't know that we're in a reversal yet. You know what I mean? Like I remember what I told you. If you look at this and you compare this to Solana during the time that FTX collapsed, it's the same market dynamic. All of that is playing out real time. And what we were looking for, structurally speaking, was we had the dump, then we had the pump retest, right? Then we had the dump, then we had the sideways action, and then we had the final dump. Now, I don't know that it's not done yet, before it starts to reverse. And it's going to be a slow reversal. It's going to be a slow reversal unless the market just explodes. You know what I mean? Unless Mantra has some kind of crazy something or other that they're going to announce that would set the market on fire. It's going to be a slow run, but it will be a slow run that gathers steam and gathers steam and gathers steam. And then I think ultimately, I told you before, I don't think that $9 is in the realm, but a run back up right here to $5 or $6, that really looks like a possibility to me. Towards the bottom end of it, when you look at it, kind of zoom out here. And it's not $5. It's about $3.40. About $3.40 is probably that level. Matter of fact, we should probably move that down here and just right down in that range around 330. That seems to be the spot right there. So we get to that spot, I'm selling, and that'll be nice little 3 or 4x, nice little 3 or 4x. Just to show you, I have, by the way, no trade volume over here. No trade volume on KCEX for the last couple of days. That's how I know the market is drying up. So that means retail is starting to exit a little bit. So Devi down to 59. Last night went down to 57 cents. Not optimal. Not optimal, but I can't do anything about it. I'm not partnering with them anymore. They haven't even replied to me, by the way. So I don't know. I do know that I remain bullish and nothing has fundamentally changed about what I think is getting ready to happen, which I think is that move. Now, unfortunately, the markets didn't dictate that was a good move and rejected that because there's no news. Any moment now, there could be some news or there could not be some news. We're about 30 days away from the launch of their exchange. I would suspect that as this gets into the public lexicon, as we start to see that happening, as we get regulatory approval, assuming that they're going to get regulatory approval, if something like that were to happen, then I would suspect that all of those things that I told you were going to happen before, for this moment, will happen, and you'll see a run up here into this $1.30 range. Short of that, however, I don't know what else is going to happen. Unless, again, when that big announcement takes place, if it were to take place, if it were all timed perfectly, if it were blah, 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 then I would say that there's going to be a big move. And Roy G says they're going to launch the exchange even if they don't have the partnership announced. Yes, they are, because the partnership is based on the integration of their exchange for institution for that purpose. It's not based on the exchange itself. Just to give you an example, Roy, Coinbase is the custody service for BlackRock, and most of the and they're the clearinghouse. They're the custody service for all of the ETFs. So that every day they go to Coinbase to buy their crypto or sell their crypto as needed. And Coinbase doesn't have shit to do with that. They continue to trade for people. You can still go there and buy and sell. Well, that's the same thing. DevE, the Dev Exchange, the purpose behind the Dev Exchange is so that you guys like me, we can buy and sell. That's the purpose of the exchange. The added effect of the exchange would be to have something like their partnership with NASDAQ be announced, and NASDAQ is going to use it as a 0-second settlement mechanism and RWA mechanism. There's a lot of different things that I think are going to happen. But again, really, the launch of the exchange has nothing to do with the partnership. Hopefully we'll get something out of it, but I don't know for sure. Fias still continues to bleed. Same thing. I don't know, I don't know what to say at this point other than when DevE makes an announcement and when it does something, it will do something. Until then, it's just going to kind of, wallow. So Luna Classic, now I've moved the chart just a little bit because I think some of the data points that I was looking at, I wanted to pull that down just a little bit. But what I had said before was that this was kind of the range right there. And I think, boom, it's going to bounce up to the top of this range. Now, what I did do is I moved that down and said, those are some better data points, I think, for me when I look at it. It doesn't mean that that I'm not right about what it's doing right now. And by the way, if I move this out of the way and you see what happened, okay, if you see what happened, then you should be looking at it and saying, oh, yeah, it's about to happen again. Why do I say that? Well, you have this move, and then you have the retest, and you have this move to the bottom, and then it moves back up. Well, now let's take that and let's move that over here, and let's say, well, is that happening again? Oh, yeah, it turns out that it is happening again. Now, there could be some downside momentum, but there will be a strong upside coming. 3015 is what I think is going to happen with Luna Classic in short order. USTC, I think, is going to move up to the top of this range at 2.5 cents. It's only a 2x from where it is, but I do think that that's going to be the move. API 3, 71 cents. API 3 is going to break out at a moment that we just don't know, and it's going to go absolutely insane. So we'll see whether that plays out or not. I do think that it will, but who knows? Also, Move. Again, I think Move is starting to reverse. I don't know if we've hit the bottom yet. I mean, that's, you see that there was a strong retest today, taking it back up to 20 cents, but it was not sustained. So the thing is, so we're looking on the daily right now. If you're selling into this range, what the fuck are you doing? They're just evacuating based on whatever dumb ass idea they have. Okay. So it should pump through this. If we want to break out, then we're going to need to see a pump up into 29, 30 cents as a range. So I don't know if it will or not. This just caused a bunch of sell orders, and then it came back down. So if we get another surge, there's going to be fewer sell orders until we get into this range. So it could be something to it. I don't know for sure. We'll see. And when we know, whatever, we'll know. Trump meme coin back down to almost the bottom. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but we're heading down to the bottom. Now, if you haven't, buy yourself some CCC because you're going to need it. BCB is going to launch in less than a week. When it launches, it's going to be the first project in their ecosystem. By the way, this is Annabelle. Give her a follow. I don't know who this is. This is Mercy, DJ producer, all around visionary with a British accent. Good enough. All right, so we're going to follow Mercy. So, une merci. We've got Lex over here. All of these young ladies are part of this. They're going to be part of this launch. And I think this is going to be this is going to be crazy. Okay. In my opinion, it's going to be absolutely crazy. So we'll see what happens with that. Make sure you get your CC coin. Don't forget CCR is your reward mechanism. BCB, you've got the blockchain beauties, and they're all lining up right now to tell you that, hey, are you or are you not a real man? Are you a real man? Because real men buy blockchain beauties. Real men don't buy Bitcoin. What are you, stoic or something? Gay like that? Give me a break here, you nerd. Buy yourself some blockchain beauties. Don't be a biatch. Because you're a man. Don't let any woman tell you otherwise. You man. Even if you're a woman, you're still a man. Still got man in it. So goddamn it, buy yourself some blockchain beauties, which is not released yet. So, you know, I'm just posturing. So anyway, give yourself some Pepe meme. Let's see what's going on over here, because somebody just said, oh man, it just started to pump again. I don't know if it's going to pump or not. Lil Puff, by the way, we're still good on Lil Puff. Goddamn. Lil Puff is about to blow up, in my opinion. Like, this is holding up a strong area, right? And by the way, it is my opinion. I don't know for sure, but I think they buy it up themselves. I think they do all this kind of shit themselves. There used to not be a website. There's now a website. It's now up and operational and live. There's also TikTok. There's also Twitter. Search on Twitter. Yeah. So Little Puff is going to be that 36 million or 32.6 million followers. They got a deal worked out with them. I just look, Tima, owned by the same team. Tima went to 60 million market cap. This one could go to 60 million market cap. Right now, it's trading at about a 3 million market cap, 3.6 million market cap. So we're about 20x away from where I think the top of this could be. So I'm not saying that it will. I'm just saying that, you know, this is one of those that's had a few days to kind of cook. If you look at a lot of them and you do it on like the one day and you look at, you know, like this, you're like, you know what? I like what I see, but it's going to be like this by the time you're done. And you're going to see like a big 10x move. You know, 10x move takes it to 3 cents, right? 3 cents up here. So then you start to see, and then we find out whether or not it can break out or not. But I think we're going to find out whether it's got that exit velocity or not. And we're going to find out very, very soon. So keep your eye on Puff to have a big move. Also, LFGO is up a little bit on the day, but just, you know, not a whole lot. Pokes, that's the Pokey cards. That one just had a little sell-off. Not a lot, because there's not a lot of liquidity in it right now. This is just something trying to get off the ground. You see all that selling that was based on some buys coming in. And that's just, I mean, it's the nature of it. The question at this point on Pokes is, will it recapture that all-time high and do what I told you it's supposed to do, which it hasn't done yet, by the way. The market started to bleed on it, so it didn't get that second big surge. Boom, then it came back down, but it didn't come back up to the 236. It came to the 382 and then rejected and took another test on 382, and then it rejected to the 786. And then, you know, there's a possible breakout. What do you think about Ceramic's plan to repeg USTC? Ceramic no longer has a plan to repeg USTC. What he's now trying to do, or what they are now trying to do with Leonidas, is they're trying to get you to sell your USTC and buy their USTR. Now, that's not coming until Q3 of 2025, but they're setting up right now, and they're paving the way for the death of USTC, and I don't like that. I don't have a better answer. I have no better answer. So, but they're not working for the repeg anymore. They're working for a new token. And by the way, it was in their white paper. So I would be looking at, I'm not a fan of that idea. That's all I'll say. I'm not a fan of that idea. Anyway, CCR rewards just pumped up like 34% on a big buy right there. So that might be a liquidity injection. I don't know for sure what that is, but if you have some CC rewards, that's their reward pool. So help yourself. Pepe, CC coin was down a little bit more, so it's starting to move back up. So fingers crossed. I think I really look. I'm gonna tell you guys. Nothing would warm my heart more than to see Coins Chick have a gigantic win and prove that all of the hard work, all the dedication that her and her team have put into this ends up being something that's life-changing or at least game-changing for a lot of you early investors. Like, I really, really hope that this is the big move and that this is the thing that's going to do it. SHIB, Bone Shiba Swap, nothing. Devi, again, down another 2%. Pepe is down 2.2%, but it's up 71% in the last few hours. Had a nice little surge right here. It's going to continue surging, by the way. I'm not talking about it right now because they got to cook and they got to figure out what it is that they're doing. But I would suspect that you're going to see a surge, most likely up into this range. Now, I've been let down multiple times, and I'll look at this right here, and I'll say that, if you look at that kind of top over there, could get a surge up here just a little bit instead of the full Monty, if you will. I don't know if you're going to get that big surge or not, but I think so. And I think that, by the way, there's another project that might be coming along pretty soon. I was asked about being involved, and I'm not launching a token. I just can't, you know what I mean? I just can't, but you might see something new coming along. Here's the thing. And I want you guys to go back and I want you to recognize that there are some really good teams right now that are working on Puff, Pokes, and No One Will Know. These are all kind of Devi adjacent. So a lot of the same money that's in some of these meme coins right now is going to rotate. And it's going to rotate between Puff, which is still pumping, and then Pepe 3, and then No One Will Know, and then Pokes. Okay, so those four right there are kind of in a little ecosystem related to Devi. Now, they're not sponsored by Devi or anything like that, but they are items that the people who are in Devi are familiar with. So you're going to see money kind of move around. So when Little Puff breaks out, and if it breaks out and it does what I just said, if it goes up to 60 million market cap or something like that, if it goes up into that range, there's going to be a lot of profits for a lot of those people. And I would suspect that the next thing that you would see is a massive surge for Pepe. Then I suspect that you would see a massive surge for Pokes. Then I would suspect you'd see a massive surge for No One Will Know. And I think that the money will just start to move itself around, and you'll start to see big surges on each and every one of them. And again, at least 3 of those 4 have really good teams behind them that I think are going to cause big moves. Pepe 3, I'm not sure about at this point. I know that the team is passionate, and passion is great. But, what I would like to see is I would like to see this go to a 500,000 market cap. Then I'll have that excitement for Pepe 3. You know what I mean? Like I want to see, I want to see a surge. I want to see a 500,000 market cap. Then I'll be saying, you know what, that's really good. Or, at very best, give me a 200,000 market cap, just under 200,000. And then let's see a surge coming from there. Also, just for anybody who is paying attention and who's watching, look, guys, I gave you SWP at 202. I gave you that. That was my gift. That was my gift. And you got an easy 10x out of it. And you had plenty of time to take a 7 or 8x out of it at this point, right? They finished their partnership with me right here. And this has been what's happening since then. Now, I don't wish anything bad on anybody. This could be an opportunity for you to buy yourself a new bag, but also I don't like when people shit talk me, and it seems like there's a lot of that going on from the community. By the way, this is just so you guys understand, this is the community that I said, hey, you shouldn't release that shitty video of Faltron. And then I worked to correct it. I was the one that came out and said, look, we're going to be better. We got to do better. We got and engage the community and keep people paying attention and keep people excited, keep people doing all of those things, right? Well, they decided that wasn't working for them. So they are no longer partnered with me. And I'm not saying, I'm just saying, eye on the prize. By the way, have your eye on the prize and look for teams that have their eye on the prize. If it works, you should continue doing it. If it doesn't work, you shouldn't continue doing it. That's all I'm saying. Now, with that being the case, we're going to remove SWP from the watch list, because if they don't want me, why would I want them? You know what I mean? So we'll see. Anyway, Volt 2094. Volt, it looks like keeps trying to surge right now, but at this point, it's just trade bait. It's just kind of trade bait right now. So again, when the market corrects, and the market will correct, and I do think we're going to get a surge coming very, very soon. If it's not, I mean, it's already starting, but it hasn't applied to meme coins really. I would look for, again, there's, you got to break out of this downline trend, but I think, Volt's probably just going to break out sideways from there. What I would be looking for is, where is my top? Where can I get, what can I get on a surge? Now, the last time we got that big surge was over here in November. We went from around 602, where we are right now, all the way up to 48. So I would suspect, and I would suggest, that we're probably going to call it a tie. We're going to see, probably a move right back to there. And by the way, there's a lot of data points right there, here and here. And then a lot of little, trade volume in between right there at about 605. So I would think that you're probably going to see that kind of move right there. So look for that to play out over the next little while. Also, TARS AI. I am talking to TARS AI right now about making some more content. I'm very, very excited about what they've done. As a matter of fact, they just released Sona. TARS AI. They just released something called Sona. Sona V2 is here, and it's a game changer. You can now trade and transfer tokens using just your voice, from executing swaps to sending assets. Sona brings seamless voice control to on-chain actions. No clicks, no friction. The future of crypto interaction is hands-free, and it's already live. So it is time, guys. It is time for you to pay real close attention to TARS AI. I think it's going to have, like, I think this thing is, these guys are really, really, and by the way, just so you guys understand, the reason that I'm excited about that is very, very simple. About a year ago, I was involved in the development of the Bencoin wallet, and we were working towards creating this wallet. That was going to be one of the features that I was asking to have in the wallet, and the people that were programming it and doing it were like, yeah, we can do that. So almost, but not quite. You could have had it in Bencoin if Bencoin had survived. By the way, I don't know if Bencoin's in, I don't know if Ben's in or out of jail or anything like that. He's, he's been quiet, fortunately, I think, for him. So, we'll see what happens. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. We're about to go here. Sign up for weeks. Sign up for KCEX. Go to trollbits.com. Trollbits.com, free to use, allows you every day to burn some Luna Classic. And all you have to do is engage with their content, which is basically just news articles talking about Luna Classic or Shiba Inu or assorted crypto topics. It's so simple to use, so easy to use. All you guys have to do is engage with the content. And that's it. That's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's talk about, before we go, one last thing. I'm just going to give you the data. I'm not going to, there was nothing yesterday, it looks like. Inflows in the Bitcoin ETFs. Ethereum ETF, no flows one way or another. So that's it. That's the time. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's not financial advice. I lied to you. I wanted to make an outro video, and I couldn't get it done because every time I did it, AI sucks sometimes. But we'll talk to you again very, very soon.